at which point I'm going to come out of these slides and bring back Sean. Hi, Sean. And Sean is from the Home Adaptations Installer Network, and Sean's going to give you a quick intro, an overview of how it works, what it does, and how it will help you in your DFG Quality Mark journey. So over to you, Sean.
Super. Thanks, Paul. Hi, everybody. My name's Sean McCluskey, Operations Director at the Home Adaptations Installer Network. I'll refer it to Hayne probably throughout the presentation because the Home Adaptations Installer Network can be a bit of a mouthful at times. But I'll give you a little bit of information about us, why we've created the network, what it is, and how it can help you and your clients. So there's three key audiences for the Hayne network. So we've got installers, local authorities, and householders. Each one is very key to each other, and we are focusing around registered installers to help you guys find suitably qualified and competent installers, and similarly that homeowners and householders or your clients are receiving very good levels of service. So Paul did a survey, I think it was last year before, and one of the key things that came out of it was that 41% of local authorities don't have an approved contractor list. So they don't do any vetting, they don't have somebody they always fall back on, which was, I think probably all can think about that's quite alarming. So Hayne was kind of born out of that requirement, that need for local authorities, so that we can help step in and resolve that issue for you guys. And but if you have got your own network and you have got your own contractors and compliance in place, we can help support with additional contractors also. We've been kind of developing this with foundations and some local authorities over the last couple of years. And we introduced it to the roadshows last year and briefly the previous year as well, but more importantly this year, because it's now live, it's now working, we've now got contractors on our network. So a little bit about us. We were founded in 1999. We are experts in the construction space, and we work with large brands to vet and check and accredit their installer network throughout. So we've got roughly over 1,000 to 1,500 contractors that we're working with year on year throughout the whole of the UK. So we're very experienced in the vetting side of dealing with contractors. And how can we help you? Well, as Paul's just alluded to there, the DFG Quality Mark. So I've picked out 4 key areas here. If it is something that you guys are interested in looking for, of how Hayne can help you. So on the cards, some of them have got them, which is great. Some of them haven't got them, but on the cards, there's sections around vetted contractor list with regular checks. That's something that we do. It's not just a one-hit check that we do. We constantly monitor contractors throughout their time with us. A clear contractor code of conduct. Hayne has one of those. It has gone through legal checks, so it is quite robust. Independent complaints resolution system. We are backed by Trustmark. So hopefully some of you know who Trustmark is, but if not, I can come on to that a little bit further down the line of what that actually means. And importantly, sharing trusted contractor lists with self-funders. I know some of you guys do it, some don't like to do it, but where you have a client that is self-funding and you don't know where to point them in the direction to, Hayne can help support you guys and your privately funded clients also with that. And it's important to note there that all of this is free for local authorities as well. So how can we help you? Well, if you have your own contractor list and you do vetting, wonderful, fantastic. But if you don't do any vetting, we can help with that. So there's a couple of routes really that we can assist here. And it's working well so far with some of the local authorities we've spoken to. So we can take on your list, provide us with your lists. We work with you and your contractors to bring them all on board. We'll get them all to the same level of vetting throughout the whole process. And then we will inform you which contractors have passed, which ones have failed. But that continual monitoring is handled by us rather than yourselves. Alternatively, if you have your own contractor lists, but you need additional contractors to help with waiting lists, or your guys are busy, then again, we have a network here now you can start calling upon, and we can share details of any contractors within your area. So do feel free to get in touch. Details at the end of the slide on how to do that. But also for private funders, again, where there's challenges internally regarding referring privately funded projects to contractors on your network, point them in our direction. We'll match that particular client up with a contractor or vetted contractor on our network, so you don't have to do that. Point them in our direction. We'll do all that for you. And just to reiterate, this is all completely free for local authorities, housing associations, and private funders. There's no charge for this. The only charge comes on the contractor pays us for being on our network. We cover a range of trades. So primarily, I think it's about 80% of the DFG funded projects that are happening throughout the UK at the moment are bathroom, kitchens, and stair lifts. But we're slowly starting to expand out our work types that we're going to, vet contractors for. We've had bathroom installers on our network already that cover most of the UK. Kitchen installers. We have some home extensions. Certainly ramps and garden. Ramps is really an easy one that we've got on board. We've got quite a few ramps and lifts and stair lift providers already on our network. But as we continue to grow, that list of trades will also grow. So how do we vet our contractors? Well, each one is vetted initially as they join us, and like I say, throughout their time with us, they're constantly vetted. So we have a vetting process that I'll go into in a second, but this is all backed around Trustmark. So again, hopefully some of you guys know what Trustmark is. So some of the key things we look for, we have an initial conversation with contractors just to make sure that they have all the criteria that's required. And the key criteria are around insurances. So do they have a £5 million public liability policy? Are they prepared to, and will they provide a minimum of a 2-year guarantee? That's a requirement to the scheme. If they only offer 12 months and they're not prepared to offer any more than that, then they're not suitable for our scheme. But like I say, this is a minimum 2-year. If they want to offer 10, 20, 50 in extreme scenarios, then that they're more than happy to, but we ask for a minimum of 2 years. Something called SSIP, which is a health and safety qualification. So that's a mandatory requirement to the scheme. And they also have to have 2 years experience in this arena, because it's not just they may be involved in some challenging environment. So if they've got the experience already, then that's fantastic. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. The next stage of that is they complete their application form and they sign our code of practice. So they review it all and agree to the terms within that. And then we start collecting all their documentation. So if they've said they've got public liability, we'll have the certification to prove it. If they've got employer's liability, we'll have the certification to prove it, and so on and so forth, because we have to evidence and demonstrate that that is the case. And also, all customer-facing or client-facing individuals will be DBS checked. We have records of those here, and we'll continue to monitor those. We'll also have records of when the dates that were completed, so that it's a minimum of every 3 years they'll get redone, and we'll contact the contractors to let them know that their DBSs are due to expire. Customer references, we always ask for those, and we do follow up on those. Customers could be private clients. They can also be local authorities if we've got contractors that's worked with local authorities for a long while. We look for companies' house checks. So we're looking to see if there's any patterns of opening a business, closing it down very quickly as soon as they've come up with a problem or debt or something. So it just gives us a good feel, really, of the credibility of an organisation. And also we look at their online presence. So they have a Facebook account. So what's the kind of content that they're posting through there, or any review sites that they have signed up to. Again, we look at the reviews to start looking at building that larger picture of what they are overtly advertising themselves as. And then we carry out an on-site assessment. So we will go out to one of their jobs and we'll review the work types that they've completed. They pick and choose which work types they want. So if all they do is bathroom installations, then we'll assess them for bathroom installations. If all they do is stair lifts, so on and so forth. But for here, there's a bit of a caveat on that. So if they've been working with local authorities for a number of years, and similarly, every single one of their jobs are signed off by local authorities from start to finish, then we can liaise with local authorities around that and negate the requirement for an assessment. But we do try and make sure that we assess them at least every 3 years for the work types. And whether an assessment is carried out, let's take a bathroom, for example. We can go into a bathroom and it looks fantastic, looks beautiful, best bathroom in the world, but actually what's behind the tiles? How is the plumbing works behind all the boxing? Is that done? Is the level access shower suitably supported underneath so the client's not going to fall through or it's not going to crack in a short period of time? And then for individuals that do join that organisation later down the line that are a member, they've had little experience working in the DFG world or with vulnerable people, then we do have an online training course for those individuals to take and have a look at. It just reinforces that what a DFG is, how to handle individuals of a challenging nature, and where to seek support as and when that's required. And as I said, a continual search, really, we continually monitor their progress. There will be a feedback loop coming in later down the line. We will be doing periodical reassessments of that particular organisation, and we do these annual background checks. So once their insurance comes out of date, we follow up on that. We'll make sure that their insurance is always current and valid. We do have a code of practice. Like I said, this has gone through legal teams, so it is quite robust. And the key things in there are really what they've pulled out here. It's like quotation best practice to make sure any quotations they're providing is really clear to the individual of what they're getting. Areas around customer service and their conduct and dealing with vulnerable individuals. Health and safety declarations to prove and demonstrate that they are competent and know what they're doing. And if they don't know, then they can certainly know where to seek the support that's required. But SSIP does sit around that, so they should be fully au fait. Insurances and guarantees. This is them, again, a contract to confirm that they'll always have their insurances in place and they'll always provide a minimum of 2-year guarantee on any works that's carried out. Similarly, DBS checks, they have to have DBS checks. So the individuals are signing up to say that, yes, they will continue to do so. That they know what to do when there's a complaint that comes on board. If they struggle with complaints, that's where we can help support the contractor here. I've got a slide on that in a second. And where they are non-compliant, we will remove them from the scheme. And these are things like complaints or feedback from local authorities, where you're going out to jobs and reviewing their works. If it's not out of a suitable quality and caliber, then we can remove somebody pretty quickly and pretty easily, and that gets communicated out to anybody that's requiring, specifically their local authorities that have been working with previously. So Trustmark, hopefully some of you know what Trustmark is. So Trustmark is the only government endorsed quality scheme for works carried out in the home. That's their tagline, not ours. So Trustmark is embedded within Hain. So for contractors that join the Hain network, they also get Trustmark free of charge. So I know that in here that some local authorities mandate that all of their contractors have to be Trustmark registered. fantastic, wonderful. We can help with that. If you do have contractors that are Trustmark registered but are also interested in Hain, or is it something you as local authorities are interested in Hain, we can help with a Trustmark aspect to it. And like I say, by joining Hain, the contractor gets Trustmark free of charge. So what's in it for contractors? They obviously get the Trustmark registration, they get the Hain membership, and for local authorities that do mandate things, they get access to working on current existing DFG projects, but also able to pay jobs, able to pay all the privately funded projects. Now, they can come through yourselves, or they can come through to us as referrals. We're already receiving privately funded projects coming through our network currently, and those leads are going out direct to the members that's on our network as they stand. And also the contractors gets our support team. So we've been in this arena for a good number of years now. So we know what we're talking about. We're excellent at what we do. And we're there, to support the contractor, be it somebody that's got 500 employees or the guy, man in the van that is struggling with something, doesn't know how to handle something. We're here in the background to help support them and direct them to support if we don't have the answers. So what does it cost? So for a contractor, it's £40 a month. It's not a huge amount. Like I said before, that's inclusive of Trustmark. They get promoted on our website when that starts to advertise our contractors. They get listed on the Trustmark website. So again, anybody looking on the Trustmark website will find these particular contractors as well. And they get to use the logos of both our branding. But also they get some scheme discounts as well. So things like AA discount, tool insurance, fuel cards, etc. For being part of the membership scheme. And those will only grow in time. So where are we today? I think Paul mentioned earlier there's 294 local authorities. I put roughly there's 300 in there, so I'll need to change that slide. But we're currently working with 61 local authorities around the UK to see how Hain can support them, either with providing with additional contractors, vetting their existing contractors, or as a route for privately funded clients. So how you use Hain, how you wish to use Hain is entirely up to you, but we can help in all those different areas. And some local authorities are also starting to mandate that all their contractors have to be Hain registered, which is fantastic. If that's something you're interested in, then please, do get in touch. We've got roughly 91 contractors that are going through, and I do know the team have mentioned a couple more this morning, going through the process to be vetted. Some are fully members at the moment, which is great. And some are large organisations that cover the whole of the UK, some are more regional, and those that are on the network already have started to receive leads. So that's privately funded jobs that's coming through us. So we hand those out to the contractors, and we can triage these through and dealing with the client and dealing with the contractor as well, as and when needed. For new contractors that's interested to join the scheme, we're offering the first 3 months free. That's really easy to say. So we can demonstrate value of the scheme. So we're very keen to demonstrate that it is worthwhile joining, not only to say from the Trustmark aspect to it, but also that the work will come their way. And where we're going next. So we're building the network. We are where we are today. We're looking to build more contractors in, but in the future, this is we're always looking at ways of how we can improve what we're offering. So later this year, we will have a search functionality on the website that will list all our contractors and the examples there of who they are, the work types that completed, but also their contact details. So again, privately funded projects or clients can get in contact with them directly, or similarly, local authorities can check to make sure that they're on our network, or alternatively, contact them directly. So that will be later this year. We're speaking with a procurement framework specialist at the moment that will be specifically around local authority and housing association procurement compliance. So that's procurement takes a long while, as you probably all know, to come into force, but that will be something we're looking at either later this year or early next year to have a whole framework that we can just slot into local authorities as and when we're required. We're working with a digital app developer at the moment. We're working with two actually. With in-house, we are building a development app for contractors. So all their records and information being kept that they have access to themselves. Similarly, they can start uploading images of jobs throughout the day or to protect themselves so that and keep a whole history of the works that they've carried out per job. Similarly, there's another app that is more for the able to pay market and the private funders, where and it's AI based at the moment and very early in its infancy, where you can scan a room with a phone and it will identify the work types that, based on a client's requirements or conditions of what it recommends, would be useful for that particular individual to stay in their home for longer. So it may come up with you need a level access shower, and in there it will list out all the different items in there, put a value in there, but also be able to link you direct with a contractor, and those contractors will all be HANE registered. So that will be coming probably next year. That gets fully released. Foundations have an Adapt My Home website. Some of you hopefully are aware of that. But again, this is for individuals to go and find out more information of what is a DFG, how do I get a DFG, where do I go for that additional help, and it points them in the direction of local authorities. But similarly, for those private funders that are looking for, just to get on with it themselves and fund it themselves, how to search for a contractor, and HANE is embedded within that. So that works. But also moving forward, we're looking for, Paul was touched on earlier about CDM regs for yourselves training and asbestos training. We're looking to do that for contractors, so that if you guys want evidence of that, we can provide that through our platform. But again, it's all refreshers that they'll all be experienced in this area. And ultimately, the vision of where we want to go with HANE is that we want this to be the kind of the national government standard throughout the whole of the UK. Now, this will take time inevitably, but we want everybody and all local authorities to use HANE. We want all contractors to be HANE registered and all be at the same kind of standards. There's a level playing field across the board, but more specifically around those 41% of local authorities that don't have those contractor lists in place at the moment, so we can raise their standards as well. And this all links back into quite nicely the DFG Quality Mark. So as more and more local authorities look into the DFG Quality Mark, how they can help themselves be compliant with that, that's where HANE fits the bill quite nicely. So lots of things going off with HANE, which is great. Lots of growth, lots of things moving forward at the moment and progression, which is fantastic. And if anybody has any questions or would want to know more about HANE or specific questions for themselves, then please get in touch either through the chat. I can see some questions already, or alternatively, my details are on there, and I'm sure Paul will send something out afterwards to follow up with.
Great, thank you, Sean. Just while you're talking, that there is one of the cards for about photographic audit and evidence. So that's 5 now. If you're doing it with Zane, you can tick off another card. So Jodie's put one of the kind of early adopters, made all their contractors join HANE. It saves so much time, and I think that's one of the key things about it is that. Even if you already have a list, you can save so much time by getting HANE to do all the checks for you, and then use your time to move cases through much more quickly than you are now. So it saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of effort. It's a lot more consistent. For contractors, they would only have to do one set of forms rather than doing one for each different local authority. So We'll return to this on future Foundations lives, but yeah, if you are interested in using Hain, I think why wouldn't you be? Please do get in touch with Sean and the team. I think one question here from Martin, Sean, in terms of subcontractors.
Yep, subcontractors. So the main contractor is, as we all know, contractually obliged to ensure that their subcontractors are suitably qualified. If they do use subcontractors, then they should ensure that they are also DBS checked. They also have the insurance details of that particular organisation or contractor. If that's the case, we will not always be aware if they are using subcontractors, but in our code of practice, it does state in there that any organisation or member of our scheme that does use subcontractors needs to make sure that everything is in place for them, similarly that they are legally at risk should anything go wrong. And if should anything go wrong, it's the main contractor that is responsible to put something right at their own merit, really.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sean. You okay to hang around a bit, put your contact details in the chat, and yeah, so if more questions pop up, great. Thanks, Sean.